Okay, so today's video, we're watching serial killers that are still on the loose today, that they're still out and about doing crazy shit.
Serial killers that are still on the loose. According to the FBI, there could be up to 50 active serial killers in the United States right now. That's literally one serial killer for every state in the United States. For this year's Halloween special, I knew I wanted to talk about serial killers, but I also knew I wanted to make it extra creepy, which is why I wanted to discuss not serial killers who we all know and have been put to jail or put to death. I wanted to discuss serial killers that are currently active or still on the loose to this day. Being on the loose and being active are two different things, which is why this video is—
Okay, wait. I have a question. What are the chances that there's serial killers out there that are just serial killers because they want to be like known for being serial killers? Do you think there's any serial killers that do that? Or do you think they're just like, they're all there for the love of the game? You know what I mean? Like, do you think that they're just like, ah, fuck it, man? Or do you think there's just some that are like, I wanna be famous? That's very well recorded. Both probably.
Which is why this video is a bit of a double feature. I'm going to start by going through every serial killer who is still walking among us, and then I'm going to build up to not only serial killers who are on the loose, but are also on the loose and active to this very day. So without further ado, let's talk about killers that could technically kill you. The I-70 killer.
Whoa. Don't talk about me. Don't talk about me, man.
Is 1992. You are the manager working at a local—
All right, 1992, we're safe, bro. 1992, we are safe.
shoe store, and you've just began your shift. Today was like any other day. You were alone in the store, and the store was quiet. That was until one peculiar-looking man walked in. He enters the store looking directly at you and doesn't say much, although he asks you if you could find something for him in the back. You oblige and walk in the back, only to realize you've been followed. And before you could—
Okay, but like, this is normal, like, this is just like if you work at a shoe store. Like,
understand what's going on. You hear the click of a gun and your life flashes. Unfortunately, that is a real story of one of the victims of the I-70 killer. And this victim was one of many. The I-70 killer is named after the I-70 highway because every single one of the murders attributed to him has taken place only a few miles off of the highway. For those unfamiliar, the
Damn, what? So bro's just driving on the highway. He's like, all right, time to hit a shoe store. Like, what's going on, man? Damn, bro, camp shoe stores. This guy's a foot fetish, man. What the flip? He should be put down just for that. I'm just kidding. Okay, but like, is he still on the loose?
Of the longest interstates or highways in the entire United States and runs from Utah to Maryland. That alone is an interesting fact we'll get into later, but more on the killer himself. It's believed that the I-70 killer was most active from 92 until 94, although murders as recently as 2001 have also been attributed to him. Very little is known about the I-70 killer, and every murder that is associated with him is because of the extremely consistent methodology this man used. Almost every victim of the I-70 killer follows the same criteria. The victim was a woman working alone in a retail location only a few miles off the I-70 highway and was nearly clinically executed with a 22mm bullet to the back of the head. Now, interestingly, all of the murders attributed to the I-70 killer showed little to no signs of assault or robbery after the murder took place, meaning that this killer likely killed—
What? Dude, what's like, I need to know why. Is there no like psychoanalysis here? Like why?
Simply for the satisfaction.
Another note, don't be a woman. Yeah, honestly, if you're a woman, it's just unlucky, right? Like, okay, I'm honestly curious. What is the percentage of most victims for serial killers being women? It's probably a lot high, like so much higher. It's probably like 80%, dude. Look it up. I don't know. Well, damn. Someone else look it up and tell me, dude. It depends on the serial killer? Okay.
Action of killing, which is just more evidence in case you weren't convinced that this person was twisted already. Now, it's important to note that there are a few murders from the I-70 killer that are a bit unorthodox. Specifically, a few murders that involved male victims, as well as a situation where two people were murdered at the same time, which was the first and only time it happened. And it's theorized by authorities that the I-70 killer believed one of the employees was alone, when in reality the employee and store owner were both present at the location, and the I-70 killer decided to kill both of these people. As of today, there's believed to be anywhere from 6 to over 9 killings attributed to the I-70 killer. And interestingly, with these murders taking place relatively recently and the sheer volume of murders that took place, there is quite a bit of evidence and information taking place. But interestingly, even with technology that existed at the time, which was only the early 90s, and the technology that exists today, which is way more advanced, there is still absolutely no clue as to who the I-70 killer could be. And all we have are a few artist depictions based off of a few eyewitness accounts. My mind is still a bit blown that with over 6 active crime scenes that have all been extremely consistent in a relatively modern time period, we still have no real—
No, I agree. Like, why is it so hard to find him? What? I mean, I guess like 2001, it was kind of a long time ago. So maybe like, I don't know. I want to see this guy try it again. No way. I feel like he'd get cooked instantly. Or he's probably dead now. Damn, he looks old as hell here.
To get anytime soon. And for people who claim to have seen the I-70 killer, they said that they saw a skinny white man, roughly 5'7".
Highway killers are famously really hard to catch. They had to establish an entire separate network to identify them. Oh, because of all the different jurisdictions or what? Actually, wait, that kind of makes sense. Can you slow down on talking? Oh my gosh. Wait, okay. Wait. I'm curious. Do you guys think this person's talking too fast? Or should I slow it down? Should I slow it down? Nah? No, it's fine, I think. Okay.
5'9", in their 20s to 30s at the time. Authorities across the United States are still actively searching for the true identity of the I-70 killer to finally bring him to justice. And today, investigators believe that the I-70 killer is likely between the ages of 52 and 70, meaning that it's extremely likely that he's still alive and roaming the streets today. Although it's believed that he's either retired from killing.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait. Okay, now he's 70. All right, now he's 70. But like before, if he was 70 in 2001, that's like what? That's like 90 something. He's dead now.
Or simply changed his methods so his new murders cannot be attributed to his now infamous persona. The I-70 killer wasn't the only killer of this kind. There's also an I-70 strangler and an I-65 killer. But even those aren't all of them. And in a press release, the FBI has even stated explicitly that a disproportionate amount of murderers and serial killers have been truck drivers, simply because their lifestyle is so conducive for serial killing. They're consistently traveling city to city. They're hanging out in locations that are relatively temporary, you know, rest stops, gas stations, and they always have a reason to be going somewhere. And truck drivers—
Okay, I'll say it. Sometimes truck drivers scare me. I'm not gonna lie. I remember one time I was driving, like, there was like a truck stop, right? Where there's like a little stop for like a gas station, and all the trucks were there, and like people were like sleeping there because that's what they do. They sleep in the truck, and it's kind of cozy, right? Now, this isn't all truck drivers, but I just feel like I get scared. I get scared around truck drivers. I don't know why. I think it was maybe like all the media about them, you know, being serial killers is just scaring me.
Was. But they do believe that he was either a truck driver, a drifter, or somebody who traveled on I-70 frequently for work. So I guess all I can say is, if you're traveling on I-70 and see a man who looks something like this, keep your distance. The Eastbound Strangler. The year is 2006. You and your dog are staying in a cheap motel outside of Atlantic City because you've fallen on pretty hard times.
Okay, wait. This is a different story. This is a different one. Isn't there a movie about a truck driver who's a serial— Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, they scare me, man. Don't worry, my favorite trash panda. We all understand the ADHD and your need for fast speech. Yeah. Imagine you are a serial killer, managed to kill a bunch of people, and somehow managed to have a short sentence and get out of jail. Can you put serial killer in your portfolio? Like, I think that's a very impressive skill. Like what? Like on your resume? You're saying like if you— what job are you applying for? Like a bodyguard, maybe? I don't know. I don't think any job place is going to look at that and be like, yeah, I used to be a serial killer. And no one would be like, hire that. Who'd hire that? Hitman. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, it's a flex. It's not really it's a flex for who, dude? Other serial killers, maybe. No, it's not a flex, man. Being a serial killer is not a flex. I feel like this shit is easy as hell. It's like, it's not a flex. It's just bad. Anyone could do it.
You decide to go out for your daily walk. You walk your dog on the usual route around the motel when you notice that your dog is particularly inquisitive about something behind the motel. He keeps trying to draw you down to this drainage ditch, and while you're unwilling to go down there, you figure something suspicious is going on. You get back to your room and inform police, and after they arrive, they knock on your door and tell you that what you called them about was extremely concerning, and what was found in that drainage ditch was extremely disturbing. Inside that drainage ditch laid 4 dead women. All of the women that were found in this ditch were identified as sex workers in the area, and all of these women were laid extremely methodically. These women were all face down in the drainage ditch, roughly 6 feet apart from each other. All of their heads were pointed eastbound, and all of them were fully clothed except for having their socks and shoes removed. And
what the hell? It's the feet, people, man. No. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. It's all these. It's the feet, the foot fetishes, man. They're always up to no good, bro. Shit. 6 feet apart. At least we're keeping COVID rules in. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, what's the purpose here? What are they doing?
All of them were strangled to death. The way that these women were killed and the way that their bodies were found is, of course, where the relatively twisted name of Eastbound Strangler came from. Now, basically everything—
Whoa. What was that? What the hell was that?
Is, of course, where the relatively twisted name of—
Is this supposed to be what the person looks like, bro? What is that? No one is gonna know who that is, man.
Eastbound Strangler came from. Now, basically everything I've just told you is almost everything that's currently known about the Eastbound Strangler. And unfortunately, that kind of just comes with the territory when you're talking about serial killers that are still on the loose. They're on the loose for a reason, and that's because not much is known, or at least not enough to find them, let alone convict them. And unfortunately, this leaves a lot of room to speculation. And I would argue that if this serial killer was at least strong enough to strangle and move the bodies of 4 women into a ditch, then it's likely that they weren't extremely old when these killings took place. And because these killings took place only 19 years ago—
What if you used a forklift or something?
Whoever killed these—
Can't rule it out.
is still alive today, and possibly still active, because all of these 4 murders were only linked together because all of the bodies were found in the same place. But if this killer decided to just go in any other place in the country and kill somebody in any other way, well, nobody's going to really suspect the Eastbound Strangler. The Jeff Davis 8.
Wait, true.
Fortunately, the Jeff Davis 8 situation does have quite a bit of information surrounding it. However, this information, while not only upsetting, only leads to more questions than answers. The Jeff Davis 8, or the Jennings 8, refers to a series of murders that took place between 2005 and 2009 in the small town of Jennings, Louisiana. All 8 of the Jeff Davis 8 victims were women. But more interestingly than that, they were also connected to each other. Not only did they all live in similar circumstances of being young women struggling with poverty, drug use, and prostitution, but they also literally knew each other. Several of the victims in this case were—
Wait, they all knew each other? How? What?
Also police informants. And some of these informants even ratted on each other to the same police station. And police station is something we'll discuss just in a sec. All 8 of these women were killed in similar ways and dumped in similar locations, with the murder methods used being strangulation, suffocation, or drowning. And the areas these bodies were dumped were either in swamps or canals in remote areas outside of Jennings. Now, it's reported that when these bodies were found, it's shown that there was an active attempt to have these bodies unidentifiable once found. And it's also suggested that whoever placed these bodies in these extremely remote locations was very familiar with the local terrain due to how specific these locations were, and also how
did they get a face like of him? Is that what he looks like? Looks like an average white guy.
To get to. Off the bat, this case sounds like any of our other cases. Sure, a group of women unfortunately were killed and went missing because they lived in unfortunate situations and were vulnerable to psychopaths that were looking to kill innocent people. But once you look deeper into this case, you realize that while there very likely could have been a serial killer who killed these 8 women, it's also very highly suspected that there was some police involvement. And the theories on the involvement of
Wait, what if you're a police serial killer? What if you're a police serial killer?
This police varies drastically. Some people believe that the local authorities not only executed the planning, killing, and hiding of these women's bodies, while others suspect that the local
It's always the cops, man. It's always the cops. I knew it, bro. They can't be trusted. They can't be trusted.
Now, whether you believe that the Jeff Davis 8 killer was a single serial killer or potentially a group of people involved in law enforcement, the
Bay Harbor Butcher. Someone watched a little too much Dexter, huh? Someone watched Dexter, but like not in a good way. Like, dude, at least pick like criminals. Someone should do Dexter in real life. There should be a serial killer that does that. Oh my God, why isn't there one that does that? I bet there is a Dexter in real life.
Believe that the Jeff Davis 8 killer was a single serial killer or potentially a group of people involved in law enforcement, the same conclusion can be drawn. Nobody has ever been charged for the murders of these 8 women, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like anybody ever will, which means that the lunatic or lunatics who killed these 8 women are definitely on the loose and walking among us today. To me,
Among
this is
Us. Sorry.
Case that just rings so odd because there was literally 8 murders that took place over 4 years in super modern history. Like, we're talking 2005 to 2009. Like, the technology wasn't where it is now, but it was definitely advanced.
Okay. One thing that I'm noticing though, a lot of these serial killers are before this time. Is there any like modern day serial killers that are still? I don't think so, right?
Advanced enough to have some progress on it. So the fact that 8 murders can take place.
Well, I guess they're working on that case, so they wouldn't disclose it.
And nothing ever comes of it.
There are several.
Suspicious, which is why, for the reason, I don't think that looking more closely at law enforcement is a bad idea. And if you watch some of the documentaries or read some of the books about the situation, then you'll definitely get a deeper perspective on the potential law enforcement involvement. The West Mesa Bone Collector. The year is 2009. You are an active outdoorsman, and this time you decide that something that could be fun to try is testing your survival skills in the middle of the desert. And that's when you decide to try living off the land in Albuquerque's West Mesa. You spend your first day on the trip hiking and getting familiar with the landscape, until, while hiking through a mesa, you see something sticking out of the ground. It doesn't look like a flower or cactus, and as you get closer, you realize that this is a bone, but it doesn't look like any animal bone you've ever seen. You realize that what you're looking at is a human bone. Immediately, you call the authorities, and within hours, the police have not only dug up one body, they've actually dug up the remains of 11 women and girls. The West Mesa Bone Collector is, first of all, just an insane name to give a serial killer. And second of all, one of the most infamous unsolved cases in modern history. It's unnerving how recent some of these cases are and how little information is actually available. In the case of the West Mesa Bone Collector, the bodies were discovered in 2009. However, it's believed that the murders took place from 2001 until 2005. Following the unfortunate trend already evident in this video, all of the victims of the West Mesa Bone Collector were women. But not only were they women, some of these women were sex workers, and some of them were just struggling with homelessness and addiction. But definitely most saddening of all is some of these women weren't even women at all. Out of all of these 11 victims, well, technically 12, one was a 15-year-old girl and one was an unborn child. Because all of
What? Dude, what is wrong with people, man? What is wrong with people? Like, how? Jesus.
The bodies were skeletal remains by the time they were finally found. Authorities were not able to determine a definitive cause of death, although they did say that trauma on the body was evident. And while the murder methods of the Mesa killer are unfortunately unknown, the one consistent variable in the situation is the method of hiding the bodies. Every single one of these 11 bodies was hidden in the exact same location, with the bodies being wrapped and then placed underground in an active effort to make sure these bodies were never found. And while the bodies were eventually found, the killer never was. At least not yet. And once again, this is another upsetting.
There it is. White guy.
The killer never was.
Bro, it looks like the same one from the last one, dude. Like the same face, just grew his hair out.
At least not yet. And once again, this is another upsetting situation of potential mismanagement from the authorities. Because seriously,
it's always the average looking white guys, bro. Dude, he looked like a nerd, man. Guy looked like a nerd. Oh, heck no.
How do at least 11 women go missing?
Nah. Now if you got, listen. If there's a white guy who gets a computer science degree, I am not trusting him. I'm not trusting that motherfucker, dude. Anyone with a computer science degree, that's it. In
4 years, without anybody saying anything. And then when all of these women are found in the exact same location, even then, nothing is then known or discovered for the next 20 years. It's so disheartening. And I didn't mean for this video to be a bummer. It was kind of supposed to be scary, but I guess with this sort of situation, situation, well,
Yeah, this one was pretty
these murders taking place only from 2001 to 2005.
pretty rough, man.
It is extremely likely that the killer who executed these murders is still alive today and walking among us.
Jeez.
The Rainbow Killer.
Among Us.
The Rainbow Killer is the first killer we're discussing that is not from the United States. Although this
Rainbow Killer. Oh my god. Oh yeah, wait. How come there's not many I never hear about serial killers that are outside of the U.S. I mean, maybe a few, but not as much. Notes: don't be a woman. Don't have feet. Stay away from average-looking white men. No, literally. US has the most, I think. Yeah, it does. It does.
serial killer does still have a stereotypical insane serial killer nickname. And the Rainbow Killer got his nickname because he was targeting and assassinating gay men in Brazil. Whoever is giving these serial killers names
Man, what the fuck? Oh, hell no.
seriously needs to chill. But back on a serious note, the murders executed by the Rainbow Killer took place between 2007 and 2008. And during this time, it's
All right, I already know it's gonna be some white guy who happens to love Big Orange. Calling it right now.
believed that the Rainbow Killer killed at least 13 gay men, all between the ages of 20 and 40, and all of them being shot in the head. Like some of the other cases in this video, it was
Jesus.
suspected that the alleged serial killer could actually be a member of law enforcement. However, in this situation, this was something that
Jesus.
other authorities took seriously. And in 2008, the same year that the murders were actually ongoing, the Sao Paulo Public Safety Department actually made a public statement announcing that the killer might actually be a police officer, which I think is a very
Dude, that's scary, man. That's so scary. I mean, this happened in 2008, right? Thankfully, I feel like it's getting a lot more normalized. So, you know, hopefully stuff like this does not keep happening. But damn, bro. Jesus.
bold and respectable claim for the government to say, like, if one of their own is doing this, it's important that they be able to speak up about that. Interestingly, later that same year, in December of 2008, a Brazilian police officer was actually arrested because an alleged eyewitness stated,
Normalize to kill? No, man. Normalize to be gay, bro. Jesus. No. Like, it's a lot more normal, you know? It's like, okay, you know, no one's not really like... I mean, there's still going to be a lot of people who hate it, but, you know. The U.S. police would never make an announcement like that, even if it was a cop. Yeah, exactly. They would brush it off, give him 2 weeks paid vacation. I don't know, man.
that he saw this police officer kill a gay man.
You know what? I'll say it. I feel like, listen. I feel like police officers need to have more stricter rules. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're going to be a police officer and you're upholding the rule, you need to have bigger consequences if you break a rule. Like, okay, listen. Imagine if you were caught speeding as a cop, you know, for no apparent reason or whatever, or you just did something like unlawful. I think you should have like 3x the punishment for it. It's like a high risk, high reward kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And they need to be more trained, you know? And that way, like, I don't know, man. It's like high risk, high reward. Yeah. And then you get paid more. And then, look, okay, so imagine a world the police officers would get paid more. They're more informed and they have higher consequences. There's just going to be a lot better police officers out there. You know what I'm saying?
By shooting him 12 times. And on top of this, another eyewitness reported to authorities that they saw the same police officer often hanging out in the same park where all of these gay men were being harassed and killed. Now, with two very strong eyewitness claims,
Dude,
obviously...
what is wrong with... Dude, okay, so let me get this right. There's an officer who's going around hanging out where all the gay guys are hanging out, and he's constantly always around gay men, but he's not gay, you know? I feel like it's probably like, maybe he's like internalized gay, but he just hasn't like embraced it. So he's just taking it out on everyone else. I don't know, man. Jesus, bro, this is scary.
There was a case against this police officer, and for the first time in this video, it seems like there may be justice served. However, that was not the case, because in 2011, 3 years later, the police officer that was alleged of killing this gay man and potentially being the Rainbow Killer was released after his trial because it was declared that he was not guilty by the jury. And whether you believe that it was actually this police officer or someone else entirely, the end result is the same. The Rainbow Killer, responsible for killing over 13 gay men, is still on the loose to this day. The vending machine murders.
Of course. A little slap on the wrist, huh? Internalized homophobia. Exactly.
Year is 1985, and you are excited because you are on your first trip to Japan. You told yourself that
I
on
love
this trip,
Japan.
you're going to live like the locals. And it was at this
Japan
point
is
that
so
you decided
nice.
to get involved into vending machine culture. Luckily, vending machines are something that are not hard to find in Japan, and you quickly on your walk are able to find one on the side of the road. You walk up to this vending machine fully intending to buy a drink, and you realize that there was actually a perfectly good sealed drink sitting on the top of a vending machine. Knowing that Japanese culture is so wholesome in giving, you realize that somebody must have bought this just to give away for free, and you decide to receive the gift. This drink was an orange-flavored energy drink, and that was something that you were honestly kind of craving at that time. After drinking the drink and going on with your day, you realize that you don't really feel too good. You go home feeling sick, trying to sleep it off, but when you get into your bed to take a nap, you never woke up. The story I just told is based off of the reality of 13 people in Japan, from April to November.
Dude, wait. When I went to Japan, I saw a vending machine with a drink near it that was unopened, that looked unopened. And I was like, huh, someone must have left something there. I'm not kidding. I saw that. I saw a drink right next to it, but I didn't grab it. I was tempted. tempted to. I was like, oh my God, someone left a drink here. But I was like, oh no. Dude, that's scary.
1985, 13 people were murdered and 35 people...
Oh, 1985? Never mind. We're safe, dude. Holy shit, I should have drank that. Damn it, man. Damn it. I missed out on some Calpus, man. Fuck.
got seriously sick because they drank poisoned drinks left on the top of vending machines. Now, if you're asking yourself, who's just drinking drinks left on the top of vending machines? Well, a lot of people actually, and that's because this drink at the time was having low sales. And because these drinks were having low sales, they were offering buy one, get one free promotions in
buy one,
certain
get
vending
one
machines.
free.
So it wasn't necessarily uncommon to find the extra bottle left on top as a gift on top of the vending machine. And because people knew that this promotion was going on, and they had seen in other places this drink was left on top, it wasn't unheard of to
Bro, imagine being this company that has this drink, and they're like, guys, listen, our sales are really bad. We need to change something up. Let's do a buy one, get one free. And then this drink is known for killing people. Like serial killers are killing. Dude, that would be terrible for marketing. What if it's their competitors are the serial killer? Can you imagine? Holy shit.
This drink, or potentially even leave this drink for someone else. But unfortunately, this fun gesture of paying it forward was severely abused by one or potentially multiple twisted individuals when they decided to leave laced drinks with...
You ever heard of a copycat killer's Trey? It could be a copycat. Oh wait, true. Listen. I thought of something that, okay, this is going to sound crazy, but hear me out here. Okay. This is going to be a little bit of a tangent, and I'm sorry in advance. But I was thinking, imagine if you had a hotel, and then across from the street from you, there's also a hotel. It's your competitor, number one competitor, right? And it's just you two are the biggest hotels. Now imagine I was one of the hotel owners, and I'm like, well, I really want better business. What better way to get better business than sabotage the hotel across the street from me? Okay. And now imagine a world where I was like, okay, what if I just brought like a bottle of bed bugs in, like I checked into their hotel and I put bed bugs in every single one of their, like I stayed for a few nights and put them in, and then I just left, you know? And then their whole place and their whole hotel has bed bugs, and now they're forced to come to my hotel. Like, what's to stop someone from doing that? Isn't that like something, like I feel like that's very possible. That's very possible. And I would not put that too far above someone to do. You get sued for defamation. I mean, but how would they know it's you? You know what I'm saying? Like, how would they really know it's you? You could just put like one. Listen. Like, imagine just putting like 3 or 4, and then it just takes like a month for them to actually like sprout or whatever the hell. I don't know how long. I don't know anything about this. Okay, this isn't my field of expertise. But what if you put like 3 or 4, and then you just cameras and check-in lists? Yeah, what are they gonna do? Like check back like a whole month before and see everyone who was in that room? And what if it's not even? What if you put it on a towel? What if you put it on a towel and then use that towel in a different room, or put it in like a different hamper as you're walking? I don't know, dude. Listen, I'm just saying, what if you put it in a gym? What if you put it in the hotel gym? How about now? What if you put it in the hotel gym? Oh, yeah. What about that? Huh? There we go. Checkmate. What if you put it in the gym? You have like 3 of them on your shirt. No. Wait, I'm cooking here. Listen. You put like 3 of them on your shirt and you go work out at the gym. That might actually work. Trey, don't own a hotel. Okay, dude. I'm not planning on doing this, guys. I'm not crazy. I'm just saying, listen, sometimes you got to work out a hypothetical, dude. Sometimes you just have to think about some hypotheticals. I can't be the only one, man. It's almost like, listen, I'm not saying I would do this, but I'm just saying, if I were to unalive someone, would it not be when it's raining outside with an ice knife, and then the evidence would just melt away? I'm just saying, sometimes you just think about these things. Like, I would never do it because I'm a good person, but I'm just saying, if I were to, that's what I would do. I think I should be considered. Trey, you're incriminating yourself. Guys, I'm not doing anything. I'm just saying, like, surely people have thought about this. Like, you guys think of hypotheticals, right? I can't be the only one. Chat, Trey's just kidding. Do not do that for legal reasons. I'm kidding, man.
Paraquat on top of vending machines. Paraquat was a very popular herbicide, and while it was a popular herbicide, it also wasn't a stranger to deaths, as in the previous year of 1984, over 1,300 people took their own life by ingesting this toxic substance. The ways in which these victims died varied pretty significantly, with some victims dying within hours of drinking the poisoned beverage, with others dying after 6 weeks of excruciating pain. The Japanese police never received or discovered any leads associated with this string of murders. However, they believe that this string of poisonings was all executed by a single person. There was never any video evidence of this individual individual and there was no physical evidence. And the only true response to this entire situation was nationwide prevention campaigns to further prevent poisonings with other products in Japan. However, those didn't stop future poisonings, because in 1998 and even in 2019, there was other reported cases of intentional poisonings via a beverage, with some of those also using the same toxic agent paraquat. This situation is just super disturbing, but in a different way to the other murders, because there was no
easy is that to get?
There was no motive,
What is
there was no
paraquat?
specific target, there was no trend. He didn't know or care if he was poisoning women, children, elderly people, pregnant women. They just wanted to kill people, and unfortunately, they did exactly that and got away with it. Considering
I feel like poisoning food and drinks is like, I feel like it's easy to do that. I mean, I don't know, man. That's scary. That's scary. Like, just imagine going grocery shopping or something, and then, oh god, that's so scary, bro.
Murders took place in 1985. There is a chance
Am I
that
loud,
whoever
guys?
executed these murders could be dead by now, potentially by natural causes or other. However, I would say that it's also likely that whoever did this is still
Now
roaming
you're
the
good?
streets of
All right,
Japan
bet.
today, and unfortunately, still a free individual. Just to give you some context about how little
I can't wait to teach you about the Tylenol murders. What's the Tylenol murders? Is there a video? Send me a video. Send me a video. We react to that tomorrow. There's some poisons that are undetectable too, like no smell or taste. It's so scary. Dude, what the frick, man? I'm never eating food again or drinking. There we go. Checkmate. I want to see poison enthusiasts get me now.
information there really is in all of these unsolved cases, the numbers that I gave you about how many people were sick and died only came out in 2012, meaning that from 1985 until 2011, not much was known about how many people died during this stint of poisonings or how many people were injured at all. And it's for this reason that a lot of the serial killers that are still on the loose are from at least over a decade ago, because it takes so much time to gather small scraps of information that are available and connect the dots. But the reality is, with these situations, these people are on the loose because information was not available or was simply not put to good use. The Danilovsky Maniac. Maintaining our now international theme, we next...
Whoa. We're jumping a new one. Dang, okay. So that was the Japanese serial killer. Dang, man. You could move away from civilization, make your own food and water. Checkmate. Exactly. And then stream on a weird, in a weird cabin. But then I'm going to get poisoned by, like, I don't know, big pharma. They're going to shoot, like, inject my food with crazy stuff. Farm competitors. Learn to cook? No, I cook at home.
Have a serial killer from Russia. The Danilovsky Maniac is a serial killer who committed at least...
They talk bare fast? I mean, I have it on 1.25 speed. I have to watch videos like
7
this.
murders between 2004 and 2007 in Shcherpovets, Russia. This killer is known as the Danilovsky Maniac because 3 of the murders he committed took place in an abandoned construction site.
Gotta send bed bugs to the other
every
farms.
other depraved individual on this list, this killer targeted women. He would assault them, kill them, and then hide their bodies in construction sites across his city.
Damn, they gave him a bald spot and everything. Jesus, man.
Multiple of his victims were girls under the age of 18. The Danilovsky Maniac is believed to be active as early as 1999 and as late as 2010. And with nearly 11 years of crime, 7 confirmed killings and 14 possible killings, there was quite a bit of information being processed by the police. However, nobody was ever caught. But this wasn't due to a lack of effort. In 2008 alone, over 200 people were interviewed to see if they knew anything or potentially were the murderer, and the police were even offering up to 500,000 rubles for any information. However, this reward has still gone
How much is that? What is that? 500,000 rubles? What is that? What is that in USD? Someone do the math.
That was common.
Looks like Trey. That doesn't look like me, bro.
Danilovsky Maniac was that he would leave crude drawings at the scene of each murder to essentially taunt police. These drawings were graphic in nature and extremely upsetting considering the context. As of 2024, authorities have not publicly named any suspects in this case, and all of the cases associated with the serial killer are unfortunately unsolved. The only information that the authorities are able to give publicly is that...
No, I know who that is. I know who that is. It's Zio, bro. That's Zio. That's Zio in chat. All right, come on. Pay me. I want that 6,200.
They believe that the serial killer is likely alive and potentially between the ages of 58 and 73, and may have bald spots in their hair. And if that description sounds extremely vague to you, well, that's because it is. I feel like at least 40% of Russia's population fits that description, so it's not very helpful. Although, even this minuscule amount of information is better than...
That's just like they just like slandered Russia, bro. Yeah, 40% of Russian population have bald spots and they're old looking. It's like, damn, dude.
Information available in some of the other cases we've discussed on this list.
Oh, wait, a teacher would be a good suspect, right? Because if all the victims are under the age of 18, like, how did they even find them? The video just roast me? Yeah, I guess so.
It's no secret that we've discussed some seriously sick and twisted individuals so far on this list. However, we're not done yet, because like I mentioned, we're going to end the video with serial killers that are on the list and active to this very day, with confirmed kills within the last few years, or potentially even more recent.
Wanted to know.
If you thought there was limited information about the serial killers we've discussed so far, well, buckle up, because all of the active serial killers we're to discuss have almost nothing known about them, and that's, like I mentioned, part of the nature. One thing that I've learned from making serial killer videos and kind of researching serial killers in general is that serial killers are more or less of a retrospective game. It typically takes many years after the fact for authorities to be able to piece things together and put together a proper timeline of exactly what happened and connect all of the dots that tie a single killer to all of the different victims. Now, with that being said, said, that doesn't mean that there's nothing for us to discuss. There's just not many examples and they're relatively vague, which is why I'm going to do a bit of a speed run. And the speed run is about to get crazy, but not as crazy as how many of you
I like your
are
model.
actually
Looks super
subscribed.
cool.
So if you do enjoy these videos and like my cute pumpkin outfit, then consider being a bro and subscribing. We're getting so close to 1 million subscribers. But okay, let's go through the speed round of serial killers that are active right now. We're starting in Mexico, and it's not necessarily one individual, it's actually a place. And this place is known as the Highway of Death. It's basically a 136-mile stretch of a federal highway that since 2022 has seen the death of at least 71 individuals who have been provably murdered. Beyond the 71 proven murders on this highway, there's believed to be over 200 potential murders that have taken place on this highway since 2020, and the number is still only going up. It's not necessarily believed that only one serial killer is responsible for all these murders, and authorities believe that this is most likely the work of cartels, but they have explicitly said that they are not writing off lone criminals to also be responsible for some of the murders that have taken place on this highway, meaning that if anything, this stretch of highway is not home to just one serial killer, but multiple. 18 different individuals who were attacked on the highway and survived all claimed that they were abducted by armed men and tortured before being released or escaping. And while no motivation is given beyond that, it further adds to the theory that cartel intervention is happening. Although if the cartels are doing this, begs the question of what is their motivation? Just because someone's a member of the cartel, that doesn't mean that they're not a rogue serial killer in their off time. Another ongoing situation that's taking place not in Mexico, but in Canada is known as the Highway of Tears. On the now infamous Highway 16 in Canada, from 1970 up until the modern day, like right now, over 80 women and girls, primarily indigenous women and girls, have been murdered or have gone missing while walking on the side of this highway. With this string of murders,
why would you walk on the side of a highway though, man? What? Okay, number one rule, stay away from highways. Stay away from walking on the side. Listen, especially at night, especially by yourself.
Over 50 years, it is believed that murdering innocent people on this highway has become more or less of a multi-generational tradition among seriously twisted individuals.
That's so scary, man.
It's believed that not one, but many individuals have killed innocent women on this highway for a plethora of disturbing reasons. Going right back down to Mexico, we're discussing the toy car murderers. This is once again not necessarily one killer, but a group of killers who live in Sinaloa. These murders took...
Why is it called toy car murder? They just like, they camp outside a Hot Wheels store or what?
Place from 2019 to 2023 and still may be ongoing to this day. They have 5 proven victims and 6 possible victims. And this killer or group of killers are known as the toy car killers because they are specifically targeting car thieves. Yeah, like this is some Dexter stuff. These individuals are identifying car thieves.
Wait, I was just talking about this. Okay, but car thieves? We couldn't start somewhere else, bro. We couldn't start like at the top of the chain.
Shooting them in the head, leaving them for dead, and leaving toy cars on their body as a calling card. Authorities believe that this is some form of vigilante justice and the actions are being taken out by either one person or a group of organized people, all with the same hatred of car thieves. Having a serial killing calling card in 2023 is some seriously diabolical stuff. And don't get me wrong, stealing somebody's car is really messed up. But if you're going to create an organized crime murder vigilante justice group, I feel like there are probably other crimes you could go after.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like we could have done something else, man. But like also, I do hate car thieves. Like I got my car broken into like 3 times. I'm not kidding. So I hate car thieves. That being said though, like, do we need a whole vigilante group for them? Probably not. No.
That's just my 2 cents. Not advocating for vigilante justice or murder, but I'm just saying like, I feel like there's probably other things you could be more
I want to be a vigilante. All right. Okay. Me too. Let's start a group. Everyone with the name Fang, with the name Fang and their alias, we have to hunt them down, huh?
Faded by, but what do I know? Heading over to the States, we have the Little Rock serial stabbings. From 2020 to 2020.
Maybe their cars got broken into. They want revenge. Yo, they probably like, yeah, they just got their car broken into. They're like, you know what? Fuck this, dude. I'm quitting my 9 to 5. I'm hunting down a bunch of car thieves. That's probably what happened. I'm not gonna lie. They probably lost something very, oh my God. This is the backstory. Listen. This is the backstory. Okay, listen. They got their car broken into, all right? But there was a photo with the person and their mother who passed away. And that was their last photo of them. And the car thief stole it or ripped it up and burned it. And then since then, that guy now is hunting car thieves because of it. Thoughts?
There were 3 confirmed fatal stabbings in Little Rock, Arkansas. All 3 of these stabbings were believed to be committed by the same person, and unfortunately, there is absolutely no information about who was stabbed.
Oh, hell no. Why does he look 7 foot tall? This person should play basketball. No, we gotta look at the NBA for this one.
These people and why they were stabbing these people.
Looks like Slender Man.
Are actively investigating the situation, and hopefully justice and answers are brought forward soon. Jumping over to Pakistan, we have the Jankil grave. In 2020, a grave containing the bodies of 4 teenage boys was found. One of these boys was decapitated, one of them was shot, and 2 of them were stoned to death. The only connection between all of these bodies were the fact that they were buried in the same place. But beyond that, nobody knows who killed these boys, why they killed them, or when this even happened. This situation has been going since 2020, and minimal updates have been provided since then. There has been numerous protests in Pakistan demanding justice for these young boys, but unfortunately, answers or justice have not been given yet. And this killer, along with all others, are still at large. Heading over to Mali, of all places, we have the Fana beheadings, which took place from 2018 to 2022 when 10 confirmed individuals were beheaded in a ritualistic decapitation. Upon investigation, it was confirmed
What are
that
they
none of these
doing?
victims had anything in common, and their heads were eventually found separately, but all of these bodies had their blood drained, which is why it was believed these bodies were used for ritualistic purposes. Since these
This is
murders
scary,
investigations have
dude.
been ongoing and updates have been made.
Yep, never going
However,
to Mali. I'm sorry. Never. I'm not going to Mali, bro. That's scary. Oh my God.
these murders did shock the region of Africa, and the UN has actively inserted themselves in the situation to try to, quote, continue to make sustained efforts to protect civilians. And for the final entry
Hey,
on
well,
this
that's
entire
good.
list, we have a man named Vampire, a Kenyan serial killer who was active from 2022 to 2024, and in that time killed a confirmed 42 women. Vampire is a
42?
33-year-old Kenyan man in Nairobi, and after his 42 woman killing spree from 2022 to 2024, he actually was arrested, but shortly after being arrested, escaped custody and has not been heard from or seen since. It is believed by some
Are we joking? Are we joking? And he's on the loose. He escaped?
in Kenya that the police actively aided in the escape of the serial killer, which is
Oh,
extremely
nah. Oh, no. Take down the whole government. Nope. No, 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 no. Nah, nah, nah. Bring down the whole government. No, no. No, we can't. We can't let that slide. Oh, hell no.
disheartening if true. As we conclude this video, I do just want to make a quick reminder that everything I discussed in this video is real. These are real victims with real families and real friends and real lives destroyed and ruined and taken. I try my absolute best to make these videos informative and respectful. Besides that, I want to say thank you guys for enjoying, and I hope you have a safe and fun Halloween if you are watching this on Halloween. Surprisingly,
thanks.
this is my first Halloween special ever, and I definitely want to do more. So I'm going to start thinking about next year's costume.
Yeah, this guy has good videos. This guy has good videos, man. Hi, if you wanted to watch this before it gets uploaded onto YouTube, go check it out on my Twitch at TreyBenVT. All right, bye.